Okay, so this is part two of the leaving off from part one about never leaving home. So when I landed back in San Francisco where I let off, the phone, the QI was letting me know that hey brother, you have never left. Really? Cool. Okay. So that was when was that? January in 2022. Okay. So I made quite a few jaunts across California when I left San Francisco and I went down Interstate 5 southbound, like I'm on my way towards Los Angeles. Okay. And I pulled up into a rest stop, which was not far from, what was the name of that place? Well, not far from Bakersfield, actually. Wasn't that far from Bakersfield. And it took me about 6 or 7 days, somewhere around that neighborhood, to heal myself. And I had to do a major heal job from all the damage that was done to me when I was on the island of Kauai. And that occurred, okay? And then made a number of jaunts where I went down to the Southern California, worked up in the mountains, and went all the way back up to the Redwoods. And then moseyed on up all the way up Northern California, made a jaunt up into Oregon, then went up into Glacier National Park in Montana, back down to Yellowstone, then from Yellowstone all the way back down to western Montana, back down through the Idaho Panhandle, into Salmon, Idaho, all the way down into Boise, from Boise down to Winnemucca, which is Nevada and Oregon border, right, and then all the way down into Reno, then from Reno down to Sonora Junction, right. I certainly covered the United States Marine Corps. It has a bunch of simulators all lined up, one right after another, which are all QI, which is inorganic war game theaters. Okay, so they're learning how to run war game strategy, because who do you think the strategist is? The inorganic AI, the finite light AI. So they're using finite light to play finite light war games, which means they have finite shelf life. I know. Came up over the top of the Sierra Nevadas and then dropped down and do some more work down in the Southern California mountains. And then in Southern California, the tranny finally goes on the Ford Explorer. So don't break glass, right? And heading back to the Big Island. And so I jumped on I managed to get a ride with a tow truck into town. So that Ford Explorer is actually sitting in a repair shop. It's been sitting there ever since, what would that be? What's this month? What month is it right now? What month are we in? January? No, that's right. This is April, huh? It's April, right? Okay, so I guess this would have happened, when was it, Mama? Back in October, I think it was. I think it was late October. I don't remember exactly when it was. But they towed that Ford Explorer back into Palmdale, sitting in a repair shop there, right? And then jumped on a Metro bus, which is called a Metro Link, actually, where you can jump on a train right there in Palmdale, and that'll take you right into what's known as Union Station in Los Angeles. And from there, you can grab another bus that'll take you right to LAX. So I had booked a ticket. I had to fly back to Hilo. Actually, it was going to Kona. There's 2 airports on the island. Usually I fly into Hilo when I leave the island instead of coming in and out of Kona. And so here's something that's tied into what happened at the San Francisco airport. Now I'm going to fly out of LAX. But when I get to the Union Station in Los Angeles, right, and I realize that my flight's going to leave, so I've got some time here, okay? And so I'm on my phone. So I asked one of the folks there, hey, where does that bus park it, that'll take you down to LAX, right? And so the way that it works is that if I can show on my phone that I have a receipt for getting on an airline, I can ride for free on that bus. Otherwise, I got to pay, right? And so what ended up happening is that here I am on the Metrolink bus. as I'm pulling into Union Station to get on another bus to go to the airport. But right before we pulled into the Union Station, I was there on my phone. My phone's working just fine, right? So I shut it off. Now, nothing has happened to that phone when I powered it off, right? Nothing. Everything was fine with the Android. So I shut it off, put it in my little fanny pack, and said, okay, now I'm going to grab something to eat, and I'm going to jump on the bus and go to LAX. So the next time I went to turn the phone on, to go jump on that bus, to go to LAX, as soon as I turned on the button to power it up, it wouldn't load. The phone would not load. So now I realized, okay, so, this is sort of like a reset, just like resetting your DNA and back to the original cosmic clock, right? The original creation, the original template, the original universal and galactic template, right? And so it's giving me a message. Listen, we're going to try and reboot this Android of yours, but it's not wanting to reboot. Okay, so tell me. The last time that this phone was on, there wasn't anything wrong with this phone, and the only thing that I did was push the button to turn it back on again. Now it doesn't want to load. Why is that? Okay. So as it turned out, I had to do what? You know what it means to blank slate technology, right? Reboot the original software. Reboot the program. So I said, okay, do that. So it rebooted, right? And so now the phone works. But I paid for the ticket, right? And so got on the bus, got to LAX, flew on the airplane, and got to Hilo. Now, the reason that I'm doing that one has directly to do with why I did the previous one about what happened in San Francisco. They are related. They are related in what we call movement, time vectors, and space when we get into events, right? Torque speed events, the location of the torque speed event related to timeline management tools, okay, with the beast technology, right, and with the crystal grid network, crystal host, the atmospheric rivers, right, the work that we do, because there is a difference. And that differential is the displacement of water worlds, right? Because we know that we can be in one location and not experience the same thing in another location, right? Voyager materials did cover that. The answer, if you don't know, is in the Voyager materials. The math is there. The math and physics is there to explain that. Have a great day. I love you all. Be good to yourselves. Go green. Go emerald green. Yeah, yeah, yeah.